All right, guys. Hi, welcome to Anatomy Lesson 4.03 on the junction between the dermis and the epidermis. I don't have my dot cam with me at the moment, and this video needs to go out soon. So we're going to modify a little bit, and maybe you'll like this format better. You can tell me if you do. So I'm going to share my screen. And what I'm going to do is, as we talk about things, I'm going to type them in. Move myself over here. All right, so hopefully this is big enough that you can read it. So what we're going to talk about on this video is the junction between the epidermis and the dermis, because we've got some special things going on here. So up here I have the epidermis, so the top layer is the epidermis. And just to review, that is made of stratified squamous epithelium. And we're going to learn a lot more about this tissue, and if you didn't learn about it already, you'll learn about it later. We also learned that there are no blood vessels. And then we have the dermis. And we said that is dense, irregular, connective tissue. And that does have a lot of blood vessels. And I'm going to use my cursor here. You can see all of these blood vessels here that lie at the top of the dermis, and this is what's going to feed the epidermis. And we only need to feed those bottom few layers because we learned that a lot, or have we learned that yet? No, I'm not sure, that most of the epidermis, the cells are dead or dying. So we really only need to nurture those bottom few layers. The thing that's really striking is that we have these ridges. And when the two connect, they kind of, so they let's see, how can I do this? They interlock like this. Well, the ridges are called papillary ridges. P-A-P-I, how do I spell that? Papillary. I think it's got two L's, papillary ridges. And I'm using my cursor to point those out. Here. The way that they interlock like this is called interdigitation. And it's interesting because these are my digits, and so I'm interlocking my digits. But interdigitation is it allows the two layers to, in a sense, kind of lock together. And this is good, it's beneficial. Could you imagine if our two layers were laying on top of each other like this? If someone came along and did a wrist twist, your two layers of skin would just slip off of each other because they're interdigitated. That keeps them locked together. The interesting thing about this, though, is if you look at your fingertips, this interdigitation and these papillary ridges come through. So you can see ridges on your fingertips. The papillary ridges are the source, I'm sorry, fingerprints. I was saying fingertips. These are I don't have time to re-record, so you're gonna have to take this with all the mistakes. This is your source for fingerprints. These are also sometimes called friction ridges. So it's good because not only does interdigitation allow the two layers to stay together, it also provides us with ridges on our fingertips, which help us hold on to things. I used to teach water aerobics, and my fingers would get so worn out that I would actually kind of lose my fingerprints, and it was stuff stuff would slip. But one of the things I want to do is I want to come back up here and add. I don't know if we talked about this in other places, but we have two proteins in dense, irregular connective tissue. One provides strength, so collagen provides strength. Elastin, the other one, makes it stretchy. So it's important to know that the dermis has these proteins. Two of the disorders we want to talk about that can occur at, let's see, how do I go? I'll go back. I'll pause the video. I don't know how to pause the video. Let's see. I hit home. There we go. That's what I needed. So now I need my bullet point back. So let's talk about a few disorders. So the first one we're going to talk about is blisters. Now, we said this interdigitation helps hold the two layers together, but if you're continually applying pressure side to side, eventually you'll get tearing. And the two layers will start to pull apart. If that happens, your body has to take care of that. It has to treat that. So it rushes fluid to the area that has nutrients and things that you need for healing. So a blister is an area where the two layers have pulled apart and it becomes fluid filled. And you know, mom always said, don't pop your blisters. Well, she was kind of right, because if it's between the epidermis and the dermis, if you pop the top of the blister, then you're exposing the dermis. We've got a lot of live tissue there. We've got a lot of blood supply, and it also can kind of get to be, you know, a little bit scabbed over and dark, and bacteria love that. So it can get infected. Another one that we have are calluses. So if we're continually pulling at this in a direction that's horizontal, the skin will respond by thickening. And this is also a little bit in the epidermis, so we might want to put this disorder in the epidermis, but it kind of results from the continual pressure here. So a callus is a thickening of the epidermis due to pressure prolonged between the epidermis and dermis. So in a sense, it is the result of the papillary ridges. All right, I'm just checking my notes. I had to do a quick everything I wanted to talk about. Okay, I think that's everything we need for 4.03. Thanks for watching. I'm going to stop sharing and then I'm going to stop recording. Have a good day.